Well, good afternoon. It is around 1:30 in the afternoon on Saturday, January 27th, when I am making this video. I don't know why I feel the need to announce that, like it's really important or something. I guess maybe for my own sake to document what I did and when I did it. Because if I look back on the video later on, and I wonder why I said a certain thing, or why my mood might have been a certain way, I might be able to pin it down a little bit easier if I know what time of the day, what time of the year it was. I might be able to recall what was going on. But anyway, I don't really know that that's why I do it. I'm speculating. But there does seem to be this urge to do that. I haven't made a video all week, and it drives me crazy when I don't. Not that I don't feel like I need a break every once in a while, but I'm not a big time YouTuber. You know, I don't make nearly as many videos as I'd like. I'd like to make them 5 to 7 days a week. I don't know if that's even prudent, but I don't like it when I don't make any. So I'm just firing this one off, hoping that I can say something meaningful that you'll care about, that you could learn something from. I've learned a lesson or two this week myself, much to my chagrin, and so I'm going to relay something about myself that I don't like very much, and let it be a shot across the bow to you. So this is a lesson in procrastination. I wouldn't consider myself a procrastinator, but I will put some things off. It depends on what's going on, or I'll find an excuse to put something off. I might have something legitimate preoccupying me, but oftentimes I'll make that an excuse to forego something that I need to be attending to. So my daughter, my oldest daughter, she lived in Orlando. She's been living in Orlando for some years. She's back living with us now temporarily until she can get back on her feet. But she's had a car. It's actually our car. It's in our name. But she had a car that she's had all that time, and it's been nothing but problems. Let me adjust this a little bit. I think it's pretty far up. It's been nothing but problems. And you'll probably understand what I'm talking about when I tell you what kind of car it is. It's a 2014 Kia Forte, and it's just never behaved correctly. So anyway, this car thinks I'm veering off the road, but I'm not. It always does it like right here. So anyway, it's broken down. We fixed it. Broken down. You know, had it in the shop. I try to stay on top of my cars, the oil changes, alignments, rotations, battery, anything. I stay on top of my cars, but it's a little bit harder when she lives in Orlando and I live in Lakeland, and her schedule is very erratic compared to mine. I'm called upon to be reliable to my job and everything else. Okay, so our schedules conflict. So when something would go wrong, it might be a little bit for me to get to it, but I'll get to it. Or I'd get her to take care of it, but it wasn't always so easy, you see? Well, shortly before she moved in with us, her car apparently had broken down. It was parked in a safe place in an apartment complex, and I didn't really know about it for a little bit, and then I found out. But I went over, it had been sitting there for months, okay? I didn't really know it had been sitting for that long in that condition. But once I found out, I was like, okay, we got to get this taken care of. We need to get this car off our hands. I need to get rid of it. I looked up those cars, that make and that model of that year, and they're just it's just absolute garbage. I would advise you, by the way, to not buy a Kia or a Hyundai. Insurance companies do not want to insure them for several different reasons, a list of reasons. But besides that, they're just they're bad with oil leaks, catastrophic engine failure, especially of that year, but they haven't really improved a whole lot. So we've had all these engine problems with that car, electrical wiring problems. So I said back in November, I said, I'm going to go look at this car. I'm going to get the tag off of it so we can have it towed just to get rid of this thing. I went over there and I looked at it and I had second thoughts about it. And I said, you know, I just think that maybe I'll keep it. That's before I got this vehicle. Maybe I'll keep it. Fix it up. My daughter needs something to drive around in, but that's a lot. It's going to be a lot of money. Maybe it'd be worth it because it's still in our name and we could take the car back. We'd have a second car, right? This thing thinks I'm driving off the road. I think I can turn that off, by the way. So, yeah, I changed my mind about it right there. I said, oh, I'll think about it. But if I take the tag off now, it'll get towed like right away because it's going to see nothing on it, and it's just so towable. I made a mistake in doing that. I got back home, told them that I was going to go back like the following week or a few weeks later. I never got around to it. It was our rainy season. Well, it's been a very rainy winter for us, unusually rainy. And I-4, if you've never been on it, is considered, I think, the most dangerous interstate in the United States. I don't like getting on it. I hate getting on it. So I put it off because I was like, well, it's raining. I'll be on I-4. This can wait. It's safely there. No one's going to take it. So, you know, Martin Luther King Jr. Day came around. I was getting to this like 2 months later than I wanted to. I had the day off. I decided to go there, but I was having some anxiety about that car just sitting there, right? I just didn't have a good feeling about it. When your spidey sense goes off, pay attention to it, okay? So I didn't go over, but then on that day I did. I just thought to myself, I have this feeling it's not going to be in the parking lot. I drove around, and I drove around, and I drove around again. The car was not there. So I went to the office. Office was closed. I went to the Winter Park, which is where it's at. Winter Park, Florida. It's there in Orlando. I went to the Winter Park Police Department. The police department was closed. Can you believe that? On a freaking Monday. It shouldn't be closed ever, like on any holiday, even on Christmas and Thanksgiving. You would think a police department would need to be open, but no, they were closed. Nice Harley, very nice Harley. I'm sure you heard it. They were closed. I called dispatch. They looked up the they looked up the license plate number that I gave them. I didn't know it by heart because I'm not the one who drove it around, so I looked on some old e-pass statements that I had from several years ago to get the license plate number. They looked it up and they said, no, we don't show that it's been towed. I asked them, surely it's been towed, right? We don't show any signs that it's been towed, nothing. I go, well, isn't it like protocol that when a towing company hauls your car off, they got to notify you? She says, yes, within 2 hours. That's law. Well, I guess that means it's been stolen. She's like, I don't know. Okay. I knew I was talking to just some probably minimum wage person on the phone because they were just a fill-in. So she says, let me patch you through to the Orange County Sheriff's Department, and maybe they can tell you more. I said, okay. So she patched me through to them. They said, we don't see anything. I said, oh, great. Does that mean it's stolen? She goes, well, maybe not. I don't know. Forget it. I'll just get back a hold of the apartment complex Monday. So Monday rolls, or not Monday, the following business day. So I call back, but they have an answering service pick up. I left a message. Every time they try to call me, I think my iPhone thinks it was a scammer call. So it wasn't ringing, but it was letting me know I had a missed call. I try to call these numbers back. I left them another message, and they called me again. Same results. I couldn't talk to them. Really irritated me. So I emailed them and said, hey, look, I can't get a hold of you. This is what I think is happening. They tried calling me again, and every time they call me, it's from a different number, and I try to call those numbers back. I got the same answering service. Now, I called my daughter. I said, you figure this out. You figure it out. I'm working. I don't have time for this. So she found out where the car was right away. You want to know how? Well, she gave him the right license plate number. I forgot that the license plate was changed last year. So I was providing the wrong license plate. She found it right away at a towing company. She didn't have to call anybody else. She just looked it up online. She had her license plate number memorized. Who memorizes their license plate number? I don't. I've tried. I got too many other things in here. I know my wife doesn't think I have anything in here, but I have too many other things in here to be remembering a license plate. I don't know. So anyway, I called the towing company and I said, look, I know you have the vehicle. I don't care about that. I don't want it back, but I do need the license plate number. I mean, not the license plate number, I need the license plate. Well, you can't get the license plate off the car unless you bail out the car. That's a funny way of putting that, you know? Bail out the car? I've never heard anybody say that. Like, did the car commit a crime? Is it due to appear in court? Like, bail out the car? Whatever. I said, I didn't dispute that, but I thought it was funny. So I said, okay. Well, and she said it was like, at that point, it was like $750 something, but it accrues $30 something every single day. I was like, well, I don't want the car. Well, if you don't want the car, then all you have to do is turn over the title and the keys to the car, and we'll only charge you half of what you owe. Okay, I guess we got to do this the hard way. Now, here's what gets me, guys. Here's what gets me about this, is that the car was towed only 3 days prior to me showing back up the second time to get it essentially out of their parking lot and figure out what I want to do with it. 3 days. So I missed it by 3 days because I kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off because not that what I was doing wasn't important. I was just using that as an excuse to bypass a responsibility over here because let's face it, I didn't really want to deal with this anyway. And I really kind of have had thoughts about just letting them tow the car. And I knew that after 90 days, they would assume ownership of it and then it'd be off my hands. I thought no fuss, no muss. Kind of, it was probably kind of stupid, but I was told that's how it worked. The towing company also told me that there was a lien on my license. Oh, great. A lien. What does that mean? I've never even heard of that. What does that mean? Well, that just means that whenever I go to renew my license or renew my tags, that all the fees that have been built up until the time it went to auction, which like I said was 90 days. It hadn't even been a month yet when I accrued a bill of over $800. So what would it be in 90 days? She says, well, all that you would have accrued, you still would owe, and when you go to renew your tag or your license, you'd have to pay that. So I called my boss and I said, I have to have tomorrow off. I'm going over to Orlando to take care of some business. I went over and took care of it. But here's the takeaway from all this, guys. They ended up making me pay less than half. I was grateful for that. I was going to ask them if they could even chew down that, but I just didn't want to. I was just like, you know what? This is my fault. This is my fault. It's my responsibility. Them charging me even less than half was icing on the cake as far as I'm concerned. I've got no one to blame but myself. And here's where I'm going with this, guys. If you have something that needs to be taken care of in your life, stop putting it off and stop. You might have other things that can fill these voids. They're not really voids. That's not the right way to put it. You might have these other responsibilities that are legitimate. You go, but I need to attend to this other thing first. Are you using those things as an excuse to not attend to what you need to take care of? Because that's what we do. That's what I did. I could have taken care of this thing. I could have just, put my pants on like a big boy, gone over and taken care of it, but I didn't. And it ended up costing me. And I had to jump through some hoops to do it. Yeah. It's really kind of humiliating to me. Here I am, a grown man, and I wasn't taking care of this responsibility in a grown man kind of way. You know, it's not saying a lot about me. And I'm not even saying I do that with everything. I gotta fix my side mirror. My wife was the last one to, well, she wasn't the last one to drive this, but I keep forgetting to adjust these things. Anyway. Yeah. Listen, guys, ask yourself, is there something I need to attend to today? Take care of it. Or am I going to continue to be like Greg and make an excuse and just let it slide on by and then have to take care of it on the back end, which really sucks. And then you feel stupid. Then you just feel stupid. You know? Yeah. I had no idea this video was going to be this long. It doesn't really matter. I got to stop caring about stuff like that. You know? I just... I tell you what, man, it really bothered me this week. It really bothered me this week that I felt like I handled that in a less than stellar way. So if you can take away something from it, and if it can teach you a lesson, if my ineptitude can be a life lesson for you, then please let it be. All right, well, that's all I got going. So I guess I'll just go ahead and post this right away. There's not a whole lot to edit. There's not really a whole lot to do to this, so you're getting it very raw. I have not done a second take. You know, I said what I said, and I hope I don't watch this someday and go, you know, I really didn't have to upload that. Didn't have to do it. Didn't have to embarrass myself. But this is the truth. This is the truth about at least who I was in this moment in time. And you know, it's just we screw up sometimes. And listen, it could have been worse. This really, in this grand scheme of things, is really not so terrible. Just kind of embarrassing, you know? All right, I've said enough. I'm gonna get going. It's a nice day out here. Partly sunny. Well, I don't know. That sun's really bright. A lot of clouds in the sky, so that's what I mean. Very breezy. It says the temperature is 88 degrees. It feels really nice. I might go hunting for gators. Not hunting like I'm gonna shoot them, catch them, trap them, eat them. I'm not doing that. I just mean I'm gonna go hunt to like observe them. Gator spotting, basically. I might do that today. If I do, I'll take a video camera with me, so you guys can walk with me, and we can see if we can spot. It'd be a good time of the year because it's been cold. Now it's warming up just a little bit, and they're gonna want to come out and get some of that sun, like the rest of us. I probably won't wear a hat because I need to darken this up a little bit. All right, guys. Make sure that you see the subscription. Yeah, make sure you see the subscription. Make sure you see the description down below for anything that you might benefit from, some goodies that you might like, and you save some money. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. Like the video. And if you want to thank me for saying something that might have potentially helped you, you can hit the super thanks button down there, or you can donate to the channel. There's a PayPal link down below that will, if you click on it, you can donate to it. But you don't have to, okay? You don't have to. And I would greatly appreciate if you did, though. And I'll mention you by name. All right, guys, I will catch you on the next one. I hope you have a wonderful day. In the meantime, be wise.